Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker and I'm happy to have you along this week, so clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Put your hands together right off the top for two NBA executives who revealed in an interview last week that some revolutionary changes could be in store for the league. Evidently, they're thinking way outside the bounds of the 94-by-50 court they've been employing for over 60 years by not only considering expanding the playing surface, but also by exploring the possibility of introducing a 4-point shot. As of right now, the ideas are purely hypothetical. And so is Vice President Biden teaming up with former NBA star and current Sacramento Mayor Kevin Johnson to challenge President Obama and a ringer of his choice in a 2-on-2 pickup game. Biden dropped KJ's name and bragged about his basketball prowess at a Black History Month event last week, saying, quote, "I may be a white boy, but I can jump." I'm suggesting the president countered the Veep's alleged hops with this guy, 7'7", former NBA center George Mirasan, shown here watching his son play for St. Andrews at St. James earlier this season. Now, while Big George has plenty of reasons to be proud of his 15-year-old, a Florida man named Patrick Snay likely isn't too pleased with his teenage daughter. Seems the former headmaster had just won a large settlement in an age discrimination suit against the school from which he had been terminated, with a stipulation that no one in his family discussed the details. Well, the man's daughter took to Facebook with this post: "Mama and Papa Snay won the case against Gulliver. Gulliver is now officially paying for my vacation to Europe this summer. Suck it." Must have been fun for her to make that post, but was it $80,000 worth of fun? That's what it ultimately cost her and her parents, who now just have to suck it up. Ahead on the show, turning it up to move on up. We'll catch you up on postseason quests by county hockey and hoops players and document the wrestlers who stepped it up to capture region titles. So clap it up for Williamsport's Brandon Eisminger and Smithsburg's Bryce Scott, who no doubt feel like happiness is the truth because they'll be right here after a look at what little playoff basketball had been played through Tuesday. It's okay. Can't nothing bring me down.
Behind every great child, there is a great foundation. Premier Martial Arts will empower your child and give them a premier foundation to success. Our instructors have the passion to teach classes designed to build premier skills. Your child will develop greater self-control, confidence, and concentration. Premier Martial Arts will take your child up the path of greatness. Call Premier Martial Arts today.
Boxes are good for a number of things, but not as your flooring store.
Excuse me, where can I find your ceramic tile expert?
Ceramic tile expert? You're looking at him.
But aren't you the...
Ceramic tile expert.
At Carpet Gallery, flooring isn't just one of the things we do, it's the only thing we do. And when they say free, we say,
really?
Here, you'll meet with flooring and ceramic tile experts with over 70 years of experience, and that's for real, and that's real value. Trust Carpet Gallery for all your flooring needs and think outside the box. Welcome back to the show. In basketball, the story has been Mother Nature, meaning that the actual basketball playoff stories have been abridged versions. Although it's now March, the madness has been relegated to attempting to solve her never-ending full-court press of frozen precipitation. Through Tuesday night, just 4 girls' games involving county teams have been played so far thanks to the inclement weather. In 3A, Section 1, third-seeded North Hagerstown held off 6th-seeded Linganore 67-64 to advance to a section semi at number 2 Frederick. The Hubs will attempt to avenge a 19-point defeat to the Cadets back on February 10th. Top-seeded South Hagerstown was waiting to host the 5th seed Thomas Johnson, a 48-45 upset winner over 4th-seeded Urbana in the quarters. South topped TJ 61-43 just over 7 weeks ago. In 2A Section 1, 6th-seeded Boonesboro took a 2-point lead to the 4th quarter at number 3 Oakdale, but that's where the good news ended for the Warriors. Oakdale outscored them by 20 in the final 8 minutes to end Boonesboro's season 57-39. 4th-seeded Williamsport was undone by a single quarter 2. The Wildcats carried a 9-point lead into the 3rd against visiting Middletown, but the 5th-seeded Knights put together a 19-7 run in that pivotal period to take a 45-42 lead before it was over. Williamsport outscored Middletown in every other quarter. Sophomore guard Kate Wade tossed in a game-high 22 points, including 3 3-pointers, but it wasn't enough to offset the difference-making third frame in a 61-59 season-ending setback. In 1A Section 1, 5th-seeded Hancock fell to 4th-seeded Northern Garrett 53-25, and in Section 2, top-seeded Clear Spring found out it'll host number 5 North Carroll, a 45-25 winner at number 4 Brunswick. That'll be a rematch of the January 15th contest won by Clear Spring 47-40. Staying in 1A Section 2 in boys play, all that's been determined is that the top seed Smithsburg will face 4th-seeded Brunswick for the third time this season. The Railroaders advanced to play at Smithsburg by virtue of a 61-39 victory over number 5 North Carroll. The Leopards own a pair of regular season wins over Brunswick by an average of 9.5 points per game. In 1A Section 1, 3rd-seeded Hancock must have felt like the foul weather touched off an avalanche in its section semi at 2nd-seeded Fort Hill. The Panthers were snowed under 103-46 by the Sentinels on Tuesday night. In 2A Section 1, the 5th seed Boonesboro picked a poor time for its lowest offensive output of the year, falling at 4th-seeded Middletown 55-23. 2nd-seeded Williamsport had little trouble with the 7th seed Mountain Ridge. Sterling Christie, Michael Riley, and Cameron Cross combined for more points than the entire Mountain Ridge team, 47-45, in a 19-point victory. Christie torched the Miners from distance, knocking down half a dozen shots from beyond the arc on his way to a game-high 24 points. The Wildcats' 64-45 triumph moves them into the Section 1 semifinals, where they'll host 6th-seeded Walkersville, an 87-60 winner over 3rd-seeded Catoctin. Williamsport handled Walkersville 78-63 when the teams met in the regular campaign nearly 3 months ago. In 3A Section 1, the 3-seed North Hagerstown topped 6th-seeded Thomas Johnson to win its first game against a school in its own classification all year. North had been 0 for 4 against 3A opponents before prevailing Friday 63-58. The Hubs next visit the 2-seed Tuscarora in a section semi. South Hagerstown will be playing in the other section semi. The 4th-seeded Rebels got there with an 81-75 win over 5th-seeded Linganore. South now gets the top seed Urbana, who defeated the Rebels 60-43 back on January 17th. Just think, wins by the Hubs and Rebels would give us a North-South section championship game. Hey, stranger things have happened, like actually getting to play some of these games. To recap the week up to our taping, Monday's scheduled games were rescheduled for Tuesday, and then all of Tuesday's regularly scheduled games, save for one, and the games rescheduled for Monday, had all been rescheduled for Wednesday, meaning almost nothing worked for our schedule. Now I know how the ADs feel, although they're trying to schedule spring sports practices too. It's almost become laughable, but I digress. This is a happy show this week. You can't worry about what you can't control. Two guys who controlled their fates and their opponents to become region champion wrestlers are right on time to talk about their exploits next.
Honey, I just got the mail. We got 6 new bills today.
We don't have enough money.
Mommy, will we still get to live in our house?
It may be time to consider bankruptcy. Call Bodie Law. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family.
Injured on the job? Been denied compensation? Need money for medical bills and lost wages? Know your rights. Insurance companies have lawyers, and so should you. Protect yourself. Call Bodie Law, your Hagerstown legal team, for help at 888-823-1255. It's what we do for you that counts.
Get over 100 channels in stunning high definition, over 8,000 hours of video on demand programming, and watch TV on your portable device with Antietam To Go. Get more from your TV. Call Antietam Cable today.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. We continue now with a couple of 2A, 1A West region champion wrestlers, Bryce Scott from Smithsburg and Brandon Eisminger from Williamsport. Welcome to the show, guys. And Brandon, let me begin with you first. You win a region championship at 285, and take me through your match, what there was of it, only 27 seconds of that bout.
Well, I just went out there and wrestled as hard as I could, and I had to have confidence I was going to win.
And I think that paid off. Was there some move that you were looking to hit in that match, or did things just kind of fall your way?
Just kind of fell my way. I usually try to look for like a foot stomp, and then whatever goes from there, just like a good takedown.
And I assume you got a pretty good takedown in the end to get the pin there. What's the feeling when you win a region championship like that?
Just amazing and speechless.
Has it had time to sink in? I mean, kind of putting your name beside region champ and region champ beside your name at this point?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still coming through.
Yeah, it's so nice to see somebody be so humble about that because, again, I mean, a great win. And I think when it comes to Williamsport Wrestling, clearly it's been another great season for the team, a record-setting team.
Yeah.
From a record standpoint this year. And for you to be the lone region champ, has to be a little bit of a sense of pride. But, again, it's the whole team concept here. And you got, five other guys going down to College Park with you?
5.
Yeah. So, I mean, once you get there, obviously anything can happen from that point forward. Yeah. So bigger and better here potentially coming down the road for you and that Williamsport team. And Bryce, as far as you're concerned, to win at 195, get a region championship there, take me through your bout because you were seeing a Williamsport wrestler in Austin Cato wrestling in his gym. And in order to come from behind and get that win, tell me a little bit about how all that went down.
Well, the takedown he got immediately was real unexpected. It was like right off the bat, he knew what he needed to do. And so I was a little kind of confused at first, I guess. And I knew I just really had to fight in that second period. And I knew what was coming, so I was able to get a takedown and tie it up. And then once the third period hit, I was on top and I knew what I was going to do. So it just all fell into place.
And you get the pin to wrap it all up. You get a region championship now as a sophomore. What does that mean to you, just being a sophomore and being the best in the region?
It's kind of like Brandon said. It's just I'm speechless. I don't really know what to say, honestly. I can't say it any other way.
Did it help you that you were wrestling a guy that you knew in the finals that you had seen before?
Kind of, but honestly, whenever I wrestled him in the finals, he was a completely different wrestler than I wrestled him the first time. He was 10 times better.
Now, do you get some sort of a scouting report on your opponents? I mean, is this like football in any way, or is it just you go out there and you kind of concentrate on what you do best and you try to make that work and stick?
I mean, I always do the same moves every time. I'm always stick to what I'm best at. But, I mean, sometimes coaches or family members will come up to me and say, oh, I saw this kid, the video of him wrestling, and this is what he was trying to do. But most of the time I try and just stick to my stuff, and it always works out.
Brandon, let me come back to you because confidence is so big for wrestlers, but as we talked about before we even went on the air, there's a fine line between confidence and overconfidence. What does that win do with you becoming a region champ now headed to states for your confidence?
Well, I just got to work harder at practice and make everything better, touch up on every little thing.
And do you prepare for states any differently than anything else during the course of the season? Does anything change at all?
No, you just got to keep working hard and ready to win.
Yeah, just harder than ever because clearly there's a huge prize on the line. Brandon, I got to talk to you about this too. I mean, the hair color. I mean, what's going on with? Wait a minute. No, it's Bryce. Is that the natural hair color for you, Bryce?
No, my hair is normally darker brown, but it's kind of tradition for. I mean, my whole family has done it every year that they made it to regionals, and so I figured, why not? I'll do it too.
Do you think I'd look good like that?
I mean, from over here, I'd say probably not.
Yeah, there's no good perspective on this hair, so that's really just a trick question in many ways. Let me ask you this, a serious question. How much pride is there in being the lone representative from Smithsburg? I mean, I'm sure you would like to have teammates going with you, but since things didn't work out that way, is there a sense of pride representing Smithsburg at states?
Yeah, I think it's awesome that I can kind of keep our school still on the map. Like, everyone will know that there's at least that one kid from this school. Like, I feel like people are going to see that name, my name, and that school at states and be like, oh, I don't know them. And it's just going to be cool to keep it out there.
Yeah, most definitely. And Brandon, you were at States last year. What does the experience of having been there do for you from an advantage standpoint?
Well, it's nerve-wracking at first, like seeing all the people just out there wanting to wrestle, and you just got to go out and wrestle your hardest. You can't let down.
Is it difficult just to kind of settle into that environment because there is so much going on? And clearly when you're on the mat, all your attention is kind of tunnel vision right there, but until you get there, it's kind of distracting?
Well, kind of, yeah. When you get there, like, your adrenaline just starts rushing right then and there because you, like, see all the people wanting to wrestle, and you just have the feeling that you're just wrestling now.
So you'll have Brian Davis there, Lasher Urciolo, Austin Cadle, Justin Beckley, and Sinjin Shoop. And you guys, what do you hope to accomplish as a group there? Do you think you can come away with something as a team?
Well, yeah, that's one of our goals, just to come like as a team and try to win a high place in the States.
Well, I certainly wish you the best of luck, and Bryce, you too, and certainly appreciate both of you guys being here today. And congratulations on being region champions. That's a great accomplishment, regardless of what happens from here. But we wish you the best Friday and Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be right back. The show continues. Got a little more wrestling to talk about, and some North Stars hockey before we wrap it up in just a moment.
I bought a dish and now I'm really mad.
It wouldn't work.
It's really bad.
No high-speed internet.
This thing has got to go. We signed a contract. Oh
no! And if it rains or snows,
the screen goes black.
I want my cable back. So if you buy a dish, then you will wish
you had your cable back.
Always on the go, take your TV with you. Watch TV shows from the most popular networks on your portable device with Antietam To Go, available free to television subscribers. Antietam Cable, we bring the world to your home.
Welcome back to the show, and more region wrestling now at the 4A, 3A North Championships. The dual meet region champs from North Hagerstown were after two things: more hardware and to get as many hubs qualified for states as possible. It turned out to be a case of what's in a name. After all, North prevailing to capture the North Region Team title only seems apropos, fashioning a 32.5-point margin of victory over defending champion Urbana while punching 7 individual tickets to this weekend's state tourney, designated last Friday and Saturday a success. 4 hubs achieved titles of success called Region Champs. Junior Hunter Faith became the first of the quartet, scoring a 3-1 decision over Urbana's Jake McCosey at 132. I asked the James Buchanan transfer this week what it means to be the best in his weight class in the region and just how it all happened.
It really means a lot. Coming down here and getting a chance to have such great work partners when at my old school we only had 7 kids on the entire team and maybe 1 or 2 kids at my weight, and just being able to transition down here where we have about 6, 7, 8 kids right around my weight that I can practice with, and just got me trained and ready for going into the postseason and got me to where I'm at right now.
Which is 36-2 and heading for Cole Fieldhouse, a place North senior Brendan Colbert has been twice to no avail. But this year has the feel of one headed for a different finish. After pinning Westminster's Kevin Max a minute 40 into Saturday's North Region 145-pound title match, Colbert just might be riding the county's most powerful wave of momentum.
Right now I feel like I'm wrestling the best I have in a long time. I've been with a lot of coaches, some teaching me technique, some teaching me aggressiveness, and right now I feel like I'm being aggressive and technical at the same time, and it's really showing on the mat.
And it all kicked into a higher gear after he couldn't even get on the mat at regionals a season ago.
I've been training hard all summer since I missed weight last year, and it's definitely helped me out a lot. It's kind of gave me a lot more motivation to see how much more I can achieve. And basically I've been pushing myself ever since then, and it's helped out a lot, and I'm 40-0 right now, and hopefully I can go get 4 more wins.
That goes for J.D. McCoy, too. McCoy capped his 3-win weekend last Saturday with a pinfall 88 seconds into the 182-pound finale over Linganor's Devin Brosine. The Hub's senior co-captain has been on quite a roll, but is taking nothing for granted.
My confidence level is very high, but I'm trying not to be, cocky. The rest of my season I've done good, but all of it for me, if I don't win, doesn't mean anything. So if you're not first, you're last. So I'm going in with, a high level of confidence, but just making sure I'm getting the job done.
And in endeavoring to get to where he wants to go, remembering where he's come from helps him put the title of region champ in perspective relative to the prize on the line this Saturday.
It means a lot, especially knowing last year I was on JV half the season. So just coming from, having a 10-9 record to now my record is 39-1. It's a big difference, a big jump. I'm still trying to, think about it, but I don't know. It feels good to be a regional champ, but like I said, if I'm not a state champ, I'm not going to be happy.
Whoa, wait a minute. Nobody's allowed to be unhappy on today's show. We're all about
happy.
Although Aaron Dobson's pin 13 seconds into the 285-pound championship bout undoubtedly left Kenwood's Desmond Kelly frowning. Desmond would have preferred that the North Junior would have stuck to his initial decision not to wrestle at all this season. Just like the 26 others Dobson's defeated in a sensational year, even he finds difficult to define.
From a success standpoint, it's pretty, I don't really want to say amazing, but it's definitely something that I guess wasn't expected. Well, as you had said earlier, I missed part of the season, so definitely I was scrambling for points to get in the regionals, and I definitely had to win a lot of matches to get a decent seed.
And now that he's a region champ?
My expectations to go down to College Park are to, I guess, win a state championship. That's definitely a goal. It's goals for Colbert, McCoy. All of us have that opportunity to become state champions, and we just got to keep chasing it.
And Faith says they'll be chasing it the way they've gone after it all season.
I knew that if we put our minds to it and worked hard throughout the season that we could get to where our goal was, which was to be state champs, but unfortunately we just came a little short of that. But now we set another goal of ours that even though we didn't win dual states, we want to win individual state title, like as a team.
Gene Balsita, Coleman McCose, and Ray Montez, all third-place finishers at the region meet, will join the four champs, giving the Hubs a formidable contingent on the state stage. I asked McCoy if it's enough to win a team title.
Yeah, I honestly do think so. If our wrestlers go down and compete like they wrestled all season, I think that we could come away with the title. It's going to take everything we've got, so we just got to wrestle hard and wrestle all three periods like we've done.
And they'll get to it beginning Friday afternoon at 2:30 at the University of Maryland's Cole Fieldhouse. In hockey, the Washington County North Stars were shooting for their fourth state title and their third in the last 4 years Friday night in Laurel. Despite rolling into the Gardens Ice House on 10-game win and 12-game unbeaten streaks, the 11-2-2 North Stars were cast in the unfamiliar role of underdogs against an undefeated Annapolis Old Mill team that came in boasting two first-team All-League performers that included goalie Tyler Depfer and his 1.27 goals against average. Washington County netminder Jeremy Benda was no slouch either, having allowed just 4 goals in his last 4 games and knew he'd have to be on top of his against the senior-laden squad who had tallied 5 or more times in 11 of their 15 games entering this one. And there didn't turn out to be much time to settle into the 1A state championship game. When Kyle Omar took a tripping penalty with the first period barely a minute old, Benda and his penalty killers were called on early. And the junior provided the North Stars a much-needed boost, keeping the potent Annapolis power play unit off the board and keeping the teams on equal footing through the game's opening stages. Then, 6 minutes later, it was Washington County who went on the offensive when Omar's shot produced rebounds that Travis Biggs and Kaylee Ruan got swipes at in the crease, forcing Deptford to take a delay of game penalty that put the North Stars on the power play. And they responded by bringing the pressure in waves, with Biggs connecting with Alamzan Yakazov for the initial shot, and then hustling in and collecting and guiding the loose puck back to Zach Elmahandas at the point for another shot that led to yet another rebound that Garrett Shepard tracked down and wristed on goal before Yakazov took another swing at it, but for all the effort, couldn't put it in the net. Later, 24 seconds after Annapolis killed off a second minor penalty, the heavy favorites struck after Benda denied William Jenkins in the slot Freshman defenseman Mason Ostrowski, who had scored but one goal all season, blasted one through traffic that found the back of the net for a 1-0 lead with 3:10 to play in period number 1. Plenty of time for Annapolis Old Mill to add another, especially working with a man advantage in the final 2 minutes. But Benda had other ideas. First denying Dylan Camella, hello, Mr. Glove, and seconds later, flashing the oversized leather again to frustrate Clark Ledane. Just as it was looking like the North Stars were going to escape the opening period down by just one, Annapolis' leading scorer, Jonathan Clackring, took matters into his own hands and finished his own rush by going water bottle with just 14 seconds remaining in the first 15 minutes to extend the margin to 2. Yakuzov had one final opportunity to get Washington County on the scoreboard, but fired wide as the period expired. The second stanza proved to be a Benda highlight reel. Annapolis Old Mill ratcheted up its puck possession, and that meant shots on goal and plenty of them, 17 to be exact. Benda turned Clark Ledane away before covering up on Jacob Fox's shot. Then, left all alone, he absolutely stoned Jenkins before turning in perhaps his best sequence of the afternoon. First knocking down Robert Steinweg's shot from point-blank range, and then robbing Fox on the backhander, saves 15 and 16, not even halfway through the middle period. Seemingly inspired by the stellar play of their goalie, who was keeping them in it, the North Stars made a push to cut into their 2-goal deficit. Elma Hondas created their best scoring chance so far with a 1-on-none on the penalty kill that came within inches of getting them on the scoreboard. 3.5 minutes later, Omar had this golden opportunity on the power play, and moments after that, Elma Hondas' perfect pass resulted in Biggs' blast that nicked the crossbar, 3 outstanding opportunities for which Washington County was left with nothing to show. What was worse was that while the North Stars failed to capitalize on their 5-on-4, Annapolis turned the tables when Clackring headman to Jenkins, who cashed in shorthanded to make it 3-0. In 2 minutes and 13 seconds after that, Benda was left on an island again, using the right pad to stop Kobe McMahon's initial shot, but couldn't quite get his blocker on the follow, and for the second time, Annapolis scored with just 14 seconds left in a period. Trailing 4-0, the North Stars were forced to press and pinch in a desperate attempt to score, and Annapolis took full advantage when Jenkins snuck behind everybody to increase the lead to 5, 38 seconds into the third. While the outcome may have no longer been in doubt, the final score was, and Omar tried Deptford for a second time on a breakaway, only to be foiled again. Benda kept the score at 5-0 when he reacted brilliantly to vacuum up Clackring's redirect attempt with just over 5 minutes remaining. And finally, working on the power play with 3:21 to go, Omar found an unmarked Yakuzov in the slot, and the North Hagerstown sophomore, who had forfeited his wrestling match at regionals to play in this game, lifted a shot over Deptford's right shoulder to break the shutout. The North Stars would have been okay with an ending there because following Benda's denial of Jenkins' hat-trick bid, a scrum in the corner resulted in an injury, later diagnosed as a severe concussion, to forward Garrett Shepard, who was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. The sobering end to such a pleasantly, surprisingly successful season for the proud North Stars organization made receipt of the runners-up plaque a mere aside. And while thoughts were obviously and rightfully elsewhere as the curtain fell on the 2013-14 season, in retrospect, it may go down in history as the one in which the players showed the most heart. Second place just doesn't come close to defining this group of overachievers. Congratulations to Coach Blackwood and his team on a remarkable ride. Ours continues in 7 days with our wagon hitched to wrestling and basketball, weather permitting. Have a happy week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets. Hey, and don't complain to mother, they hiding under color, you gotta get up on your feet. Now I feel it in my bones again. Yeah, feel it, but you're never gonna let it in until